Hello and welcome. In my previous video I showed you the progress I'd made on making these lovely journal covers. In this video I'd like to show you how I selected the signatures that fill them. Here are the pages I've prepared. I've decided these little books will have 3 signatures and each signature will have 6 sheets in it. So that will give you 24 pages per signature, giving an overall total of 72 pages in the whole book. I've prepared these in the same way I'd prepare a big journal. So I'd like to have a page in the centre of my signature, so they're here, a page as the cover of each signature, so they're here, and then some fancy pages, some book pages and some plain pages. So I'll just show you what I've done with each page. So I'll start off with the centre pages of the signature. So here I have a pretty green patterned paper and I've stitched a piece of Christmassy ribbon across the top there, and I've made pockets on each side of the signature. They vary slightly, so each book will get one of these. And then there's a red one. On here I've stitched a piece of Christmassy ribbon, and again it has the little pocket on each side. This is a piece of silk bias binding, and I've stitched that on with a piece of gold thread. So again, each book will get one of these, and you can see the patterns vary, so every book will be different. And then this is the last centre of the signature. This is hand-dyed paper, so I've dyed it with some red and green. So obviously everyone has come out differently. And then I've stitched this little fabric Merry Christmas onto the corner, and that makes a little pocket. Next, I have the signature covers. So for these, I like to use a slightly thicker paper. This one has a glittery, silvery marble effect on it, and I've tea dyed it as well, so they all come up slightly different. This one you can see is quite grungy, and then some of them have not got so much tea on them. And I've stenciled a deer inside there. Again, this one has been tea dyed, and it's also been embossed, so I don't know if you can see there's some Christmassy patterns on there. And again, it's tea dyed, so this one is quite grungy. This one hardly has tea on it, so it's a nice soft creamy colour. There you can see the tea dye in. So they're all slightly different. And this is the last of the signature covers. This one again is embossed, and on this I've used hand-dyed paper, so it's dyed with red and green, and obviously every page has come out differently. So this one is quite grungy, and then this is mainly green, and then this one only has a little bit of colour on it. And these have been put through the embosser. So they look quite pretty with that embossed image on them. Not sure if you can see that, hopefully you can. Moving on to the fancy papers. So these are papers that can be used for journaling. So there is journaling space in there. As you can see, this one has a little fold out. Again, tea-dyed. I think everything's tea-dyed in here, unless it has a natural aged look. So again, each of these papers is slightly different image. There's lots of journaling space there. And then these ones are tea-dyed. This has a belly band in it and a piece of lace sewn here. And that belly band is slightly embossed. Excuse me. And this one has a snowflake image on it. And a piece of lace stitched down the edge there with some gold thread. Usually when I select pages for a journal, I would include parchment or vellum or a doily or tissue paper or something like that. But with these, I decided not to, because I thought, because it's so small, each page needed to have value, and I see these as purely decorative. But I'm still not sure whether to include them. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below whether you think it's worth putting parchment or vellum or something like that into these mini journals. But for now, I'll leave it out. So the next pages I've got are these three here. So this one is tea-dyed paper, and you can see I've stamped or stenciled a gingerbread man on there, and this is a little corner pocket, and inside here we have two pockets, and another little gingerbread man stamped on the back. So each one of these gingerbread houses is different. And then we're moving on to, I was going to say book pages. This one isn't a book page. So this page is stenciled. As you can see, I've stenciled a bauble on there. And then this is just a little flap, and I've included a couple of extra bits of paper for journaling space in there. So this is made from an envelope. So I've tried to include as much journaling space as possible because the book is so small, and that's the reason I didn't include the vellum for now. I may change that. And moving on to the book pages, these are all from vintage books. So this one here from a flower book, Wildflowers. This is the book it came from. So you can see I've selected small books so that the images are smaller. So that's a 1964 book. And these are the pages that I've made. So in these I've included a piece of gold doily that I've cut up to make a little corner tuck. And I've also cut the label of the plant and pasted it onto there. So again, you see they're all slightly different. This page here is from a beautiful book you may have seen in my charity shop haul or thrift haul. So these pages came from this book, lovely old book, again quite a small book, so it was perfect for this project. So again, another vintage book, and obviously each page slightly different. Couldn't make a journal, even a mini journal, without an Edith Holden page. So here we have a little piece of an Edith Holden page. This comes from a 1984 edition of the Edith Holden book. So here we go. The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, Christmas 1984. And again, that's a smaller version of the book, but it is an original version. So I've stamped a little image here of a bell, or two bells, and inside there's a little robin, and I've painted his breast red. This is the music paper I've chosen to use. Originally I purchased this book and planned to use it in my Christmas journals, but as you can see the actual print is rather large and not suitable for mini journals. So I've used this vintage music paper which has a much smaller print. It's quite fragile paper, although it's a lovely colour, so I've had to reinforce the fold with some washi tape. And finally I have the plain papers. So these are just lined or squared in various neutral colours. I've done a little bit of stenciling on this page and some stamping on this page. So next I'll lay out the pages pretty much as I have here, and I'll go through the rows, selecting a cover page, internal pages, just randomly picking them up, and a centre page. That's all of them. A centre page to make up each of the 3 signatures. So I've done that row, and then I'll move on to the next row so that I don't get duplicated pages, and that will make up the signatures for the book. So here are the 3 signatures that I've made. You'll see they sit nicely inside the book, and I think that's just about the right number of pages to fill the book, but also to leave room for it to grow a bit. Thank you very much for watching. Come back soon to see what I do next. Thank you. Bye bye.